10, so make sure to tune in. And also, 10 weeks of reveals. Y'all, every week we're going to be revealing new info across the Walking Dead social platforms, photos, videos, never before seen content. This will kick off Thursday next week, July 25th. So keep an eye out on the Walking Dead Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter profiles. More details to come. And then tomorrow, we're shooting a pretty crazy fun thing at Petco Park at 9 a.m. We're trying to get as many people in zombie makeup, as many walkers as we can together in history to form the largest real live horde ever. So please join us over at Petco Park in zombie makeup. If you didn't bring zombie makeup, just break a lipstick off on your face or something. It doesn't matter. Just go to the store, just get some raw meat, just lick it, just stick it inside of your face. You'll be fine, do whatever, chew up some dog treats, throw them up on your shirt. I don't care. Just, we want to get as many people there as possible. That's 9 a.m. Go to amc.com/horde, H-O-R-D-E, for more details. And for right now, there is a lot to go through and some very big announcements, so let's bring everyone out for the first part. Please welcome to the stage the executive producers of The Walking Dead, Angela Kang, Scott Gimple, Robert Kirkman, David Alpert, Gale and Hurd, and Greg Nicotero. Here they come, the Walking Dead EPs. Sifting quickly, because there's no time. All right, so Angela Kang, welcome. Great job so far. I mean, honestly, you've done such an amazing job this last season, and we're very much looking forward to it. So before we get to see the trailer, which I will show in a few minutes, what are you most excited about for season 10?
You know, I'm excited in season 10 because we're still finding new ways to explore the story, and you'll see in the trailer that, you know, we're getting into a whole different style of war than the last time we saw a war on the show. And the Whisperers are a really different type of enemy, so we'll get to see what it's like to be in a Whisper war. So that's some fun stuff for us coming up.
And Scott, 10 years, 10 years of The Walking Dead, a decade of The Walking Dead.
Decade of the Dead.
What does that mean for you?
Well, I read the book before there was a show, and I remember, and you know, like, the web, this show's been on 10 years, so like the web wasn't quite what it was 10 years ago, the internet's. And I remember being on Lancashire Boulevard and seeing the poster, and just, you know, being so excited to see, like, oh man, this show looks like it's been done right. This looks like the comic. This looks like that famous page. And I remember going, getting called and go to a meeting with like most of the people at this table on the other side. And I didn't want to back off, so I wore a sweater vest.
That's serious. That means serious business.
No, I was like, I gotta be me, and I was wearing like a tie with foxes. And I walked out of there and I was like, yeah, I don't know if that went well. And then to get on the show and to be sitting in the room with Robert every day and to have him relentlessly mocking me, it was a weird turn of events.
That's how he shows love.
And I just want to say there are so many things that happened in that initial meeting that I wanted to mention just now, but didn't.
There you are. Oh no, I just teed you up, is what you're saying?
No,
Here you go.
I'll spare you that.
Okay, thank you. God bless you.
You were fantastic.
Yeah.
Scott has this thing where when he gets nervous, his face goes flush
Yes,
red.
this is true.
So if you're ever watching one of these panels and he starts to get a little red,
Yeah.
it's because he's lying to you.
It's happening now.
But I remember in the first meeting being like, is this guy okay?
Yeah.
I say, the cheek is just like, looks like a tomato. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really pulling focus off that fox tie
Yeah.
and the sweater vest.
Then later they were like, Scott was really good. And I was like, well, which one was Scott? Oh, was he the tomato guy? Yeah, he was fantastic. So it worked for him. It really helped out.
10 years, and I've not heard this story. So that's exciting. So to work on the show as a writer-producer, to show run, and then to step out of that and to be making new stuff for you guys, I would just say, when I saw the show, and those 6 Sunday nights were incredible for me, I was like, that's the kind of show I want to make. And to be able to work on it with all these guys and to make that show for you. If there's a show that you guys dig, if there's something that charges you up, you can do it. You can wind up there. you can have Robert Kirkman mocking you. It can happen. So it means everything to me. It's been one of the most amazing things in my life and one of the most satisfying things I've done, and I've met some of the most amazing people. So I know you were buying for this kind of answer, Chris, but this was for you, man.
No, I finally.
Scott, you have to show them your socks.
Oh, God. Okay, well.
Because that is his son, Gus.
Oh, that's adorable.
I don't need socks to be a good dad.
I do.
Daddy loves you. It's on his socks. You're dead. Weird. Come on. Robert Kirkman.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. The old spontaneously ending the comic books routine.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That was. I remember.
Everybody okay? Are there any tomatoes coming my way? I'm really sorry.
There's a tomato right next to you.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey!
Played. Good callback. Points. Kirkman, I mean, I obviously, like everyone else who knows what I'm talking about, I read the thing that you wrote. I understand, why you did it. I understand emotionally why you did it. I understand that it was hard. Also, thank you for the sweet words you said about me and Talking Dead. But having something that's been so much because I love you. I love you too. Because it's been so much a part of their lives and your life. What do you say to the fans? Like, what can you say to the fans after just like?
Well, there's something I really want to say to the fans, just because we're here in Hall H celebrating the Walking Dead show.
This is last issue, by the way.
Having a good time. The comic book is something very special to me, and I think over the life of it, I think that you can see how it became, or always was, Rick Grimes' story and Carl Grimes' story. The same way that the Telltale game is Clementine's story. So that story had a natural conclusion. I was very excited to get to that point. I cannot thank all of you enough for the support and everything that you do for this series that allowed me to get to that point. But this show is about the world, and we've proven that with the last season. And so anyone who's concerned that the fact that this comic book wrapped up means that season 10 is going to somehow spontaneously end on episode 4 as a surprise, that is not going to happen. There is a lot more story to tell, and I'm very excited to be working with Scott and Angela to, figure out like if there are any other threads in the comic that we didn't quite get to, bring the world past that point, because I think there is some story to tell when you're talking about the world of The Walking Dead. So I'm very excited about that. So no worries there.
Oh, thank God. I mean, obviously, I have very vested worries about that type of thing. I read that, I was like, oh no,
Chris
please!
will be on Talking Dead, well into his 70s, hawking bobbleheads.
That'd be weird if
and apps.
That'd be weird if it's like,
fantastic.
Walking Dead ends, weirdly, Talking Dead picked up for 5 more seasons. Like, that's never going to be a headline, so. Gale, can we talk about new major characters joining the cast this season?
I'd be happy to.
Please.
So I'm really excited to announce a couple of fantastic additions to the cast. Thora Birch, whom you may all know from Ghost World and American Beauty, Clear and Present Danger, and Hocus Pocus. She is going to be playing Gamma, a whisperer who is fiercely protective of Alpha, a committed believer in the whisper way of life. In addition, playing the role of Virgil will be Kevin Carroll from The Leftovers and Snowfall. He's really intelligent, very resourceful, and when he encounters some of our group, he's going to be desperately trying to get back to his home and family.
Great.
So,
Thank you very much.
we look forward to sharing their stories and these fine actors with you.
And just sort of talking about new characters, Dave Alpert, is there a storyline from the comics that you would like to see brought to life on the show at some point?
I'm still just trying to get over the fact that that's actually not Scott's son on his socks, and I'm trying to figure out whose son it is.
So are you saying that Scott Gimple abducted a child and photographed him only for the purpose of having original socks with a baby's face on?
That's a little strange.
Man, this is some late breaking news here at Hall. It's a dark. Go ahead.
I'm seriously uncomfortable now.
We'll talk about this.
Okay.
I'm gonna get close up on this cheek.
Just for the people in the back who can't hear, a lady in the front row went, so are we!
Okay. I'm still sort of getting over issue 193 in the comic, and but I actually feel like when we got to 192, and sort of we saw, there's a moment in 191 where it's like, it looks like there's about to be another all-out war between everybody's about to break out, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe Robert's about to do this. And then everyone goes, stop, and it just stops. And I felt like that was actually a really interesting moment where the book had sort of changed. And like everybody's like, oh no, we've actually moved past this storytelling bit. And I was like, I would love to see us get to that moment in the show where we can find a way to sort of do things a little differently. And then the smaller silent moment at the end where Rick gets shot, I would love to see some version of that now that Rick's not in the show. How would we sort of adapt that moment for TV? That's what I'm looking forward to.
Cool. And then for Greg and Nicotero, side note, excited about Creepshow. Secondly, what can you talk about Walking Dead from the director standpoint going into season 10?
Well, you know, Angela wrote the first episode, which I directed. I just finished shooting my second of the season. And the greatest thing about it is it feels new and it feels fresh, and we're seeing our characters in very different lights. The opening 3 minutes is unlike anything we've ever done. You're not going to be sure what show you're watching for the first 30 seconds. And you're going to see a lot of it in the trailer that we're about to show. But you know, it constantly challenges me, this show. You know, I mean, we have a big cast, and we're constantly reminding ourselves that we need to pay tribute to you guys. We need to put some great episodes out there, and thank you guys for continuing to watch. So, in pure Walking Dead fashion, it opens with a bang. So it was a great experience, and you know, as the show gets bigger, we use more tools to tell the story, and there's a lot of really epic shots that show the world and show the scope of what our people have become in the interim of the snow episode, which last year was a whole other challenge of like, we've been shooting in Georgia, like, oh, you're gonna make snow. Like, how do we make snow? Oh, well, they get these big fans and they cut paper really small and they blow paper through the air, or soap suds, and we had never done anything like that. So the learning curve of trying to figure out, you know, how to build a set that was a frozen, you know, riverbed, and shoot all that stuff on stage. So I feel like the show gets, in its intent, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the crew in Georgia, man, you know, they always pull it off. They get up every morning before the sun comes up and we shoot all day, and it's hot. But man, oh man, you know, they bring it every time. So it's a tribute to this team. But you know, the show never gets smaller. There's never an episode where it's two people in a room talking. There'll be two people in a room talking with 1,000 zombies around them, and then there's another room with 50,000 other people in it. So the writers have done an amazing job. We have a lot of new writers this season, and it's going to be great. I can't wait for you to see the trailer.
All right, let's get them all out here. Here's 10 cast members for Walking Dead to celebrate the upcoming season 10. Please welcome Danai Gurira, Fleming, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Melissa McBride, Nash, Ryan Hurst, Nadia Hilker, Eleanor Matsuura, Cooper Andrews, and last but not least, Mr. Norman Reedus. Welcome everyone. Get settled.
So good for season 10.
All right, good. All right.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so there's a lot to get through. I want to start with Norman Reedus.
The food line.
What can we expect from Daryl season 10?
Wow. There's a whole lot of people kind of losing their shit this season.
Swear jar.
Yeah, and you know that he's a leader. He's always been a leader, but he's really sort of watching everybody lose it, and he's trying to pick up the pieces behind them. There's a lot of paranoia this year. There's I mean, the threat is kind of like right next to us, and you can't tell who's who. And there's a lot of walls closing in around us in all directions. So he's trying to be a supportive person and get along with everyone.
We talked a little bit about this the other day because you did the podcast, and thank you for that. And Zainab McBride said, Norman, knowing what Daryl knows now, and how he's evolved since the beginning, what advice would he give season 1 Daryl?
Oh, wow. Lighten up, maybe. And, you know, I think trust people. I mean, you have to trust people. You have to unite. Everyone has to have a voice. They have to be part of the conversation. And, you know, he was such a lone guy in the beginning and didn't trust anyone and had a chip on his shoulder. And I think, you know, people are a resource, if someone says that sometimes. Someone I know over there. But, you know, I think to trust the person around you, because you're gonna need to rely on them sooner or later, you know.
Malice McBride. A lot of people really want to see a showdown between Carol and Alpha.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I feel the same way. Yeah, I feel like there deserves to be one. Carol wants vengeance. It's hard enough to try to survive in the world where everything in the world itself, the odds are against you, and you go one day to the next trying to justify going one day to the next. And it's so hard. You know, why are we doing this? And then you have a human being coming and making it all that much worse and taking things from you. I think there should be a showdown.
Yeah. And Carol has, you know, since the beginning, has suffered loss after loss, and she always gets back up, she keeps going. She's proven that she is an incredible leader. How do you feel about her in season 10?
In season 10, she's leading. She's leading her own fight, I think, in a way, in a big way. And also by season 10, it's like Carol has been so many different types of people. Every season she comes back and there's a new evolution. And I think those aspects of Carol are extremely important and it makes sense and they are why she's still here. And it's a survival mechanism.
Danai, for Michonne, last season was about grief. It was about loss, and it was a lot about how she could protect what's left. And she's also had an incredible journey of healing. So where is Michonne at in season 10?
Yeah, I mean, it was very much a lot of what I loved about how it was structured was, you know, we got to go back and see what those wounds were, even after Rick, in terms of what happens with her friend and with almost losing Judith, that really caused so much of that wall to build around her. So the healing that she starts to find in last season because of her very kick-ass daughter and her very awesome friend Siddiq really does. You know, it's a responsibility now because now you're opening up again, and healing involves vulnerability, which is scary, and it also involves taking on the responsibility of all these people that you're now saying, I'm taking you all on, and that for Michonne, she protects to the end. So stepping into that next phase of what does it look like to open up again is what it's all about, and really how do you carry this number of people as she would want to and would expect herself to, and lean in on amazing folks. You know, as I said, she has the most awesome daughter in the world. I must say Walking Dead has an amazing knack for finding the most amazing child actors in the world.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Speaking
young
of which,
lady,
Cailey
right
Fleming
here.
over there. Welcome. This is
heck?
A little girl, like, a young
Now, for your fighting scenes, does having a gymnastics background, has that been helpful for you?
Totally. Because with sword training, you have to have very sharp movements.
How many kids get to say that? How many kids get to say that?
Well, you have to have really sharp movements, and having gymnastics has helped me a lot with that. But I have had a lot of sword training, and Danai looks so fierce when she does it. She makes it look so awesome, and so every time I train, I have to train to make it look like Danai No, I taught
But she does it better. Like, I'm officially obsolete.
I have to make it look like she taught me how to do it because Michonne is the teacher of Judith. And so that's how I had to learn it. And so I had to learn how she did it, and you'll see more of that.
She's amazing, this young lady.
I mean, I hope you know the second you came on screen as Judith Grimes, everyone fell in love with that character. Such a great, so good as Judith. So good. And so ready for this apocalypse. What does it mean that Angela said she's very excited? The term release the Negan keeps reappearing.
Release the Negan.
We heard it a lot last season. It's like when Alpha came around, you gotta release the Negan. This is what you have to do. If once you release the monster, can you then contain the monster? So what does that mean for you, and what are you excited about?
Well, last year was a long year for Negan, and it was really, 10 years? So it's been a long 10 years. So I think Negan is going to stretch his legs a bit this season, certainly. And as far as, the redemption arc that he's kind of been on, and I think it's true. When people ask all the time, is it real or is it an act he's putting on? I think that Negan's relationship with the likes of Judith is as genuine as it can be. But the thing about Negan is he is always going to be Negan. And now that he's out of that cell a little bit, and as the season goes, we'll see what happens. He's gonna, he's sharp and witty and a little bit cutting with the words he has to say, and we'll see what happens if he gets a weapon in his hands. What goes down.
All right.
Yeah.
See if he gets reunited.
But he's not gonna hurt Judith, I can tell you that right now.
No, she's gonna take Lucille.
Yes, she's gonna take Lucille, that's right.
We already covered that.
That's exactly right.
Avi, what can you tell us about how Siddiq is coping after Alpha's attack last season?
I don't think you see and survive something that brutal and stay the same person. Siddiq is very much, I think, this season we see he's a little bit of a broken man, and he's dealing with survivor's guilt and anger and fear and shame and PTSD and a nightmare that never seems to end. So he's not having a great time, I guess, is what I would say.
Knowing what a huge fan you are of this world, of Comic-Con, of The Walking Dead, this is from Leanne137 on Twitter. Ryan, do you even realize the effect you have had on this fandom? Did you think playing such a bad guy would be so thrilling?
Absolutely, bad guys are always the most fun. Always the most fun. But I'll tell you, I've been a part of other successful shows, and Norman and Jeff were like, yo, welcome to the family, man. These fans are the best. And I go on record as saying that the fam, the best.
And what are you excited about for season 10? Just kind of opening up a little bit? We're going to see some more beta. What's going on?
He has a spin-off cooking show.
Beta Bites.
Baking with Beta.
Baking with Beta.
No, without giving away too much, we get to sort of investigate a little more about Alpha and Beta and sort of why they became who they are. Which was a lot of fun to shoot. We just got done, Nicotero and I doing that just this week, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm just super excited to show fans. The Whispers are really kind of this season coming on full force, so it should be fun.
Excellent. For Eleanor, Eleanor, do you think Yumiko and Magna's group still feel like outsiders, or do you think we're getting to a place where they feel like Hilltop is their home?
Yeah, last season was so much about finding a safe place for our group. And it was funny, it really felt like life imitating art in that way, because, this show has been so beloved, been going for so many years, and then we joined at such a pivotal point with Andy leaving and everything. And it really felt like that. It felt like we were the new kids at school, We were pretty lucky that we had each other to experience that together. And this time coming back for season 10, it's more familiar. It's we've gone through the experience of 9, and now we get to regroup again for 10, and it does feel more like home. And I think certainly the characters really feel in our group that we found our home in Hilltop, and we want to protect it. So that's kind of where we're at for this season.
And then for Nadia, Magna had a kind of a tense introduction last season. Do you think she's on better terms now with Michonne than last season?
Hi guys, thank you for coming. You put me in a tough spot right now because I have Eleanor and Yumiko sitting right next to me.
What were you gonna say?
I mean, Michonne is attractive.
Oh, I see.
Danai too, right? Fun fact, I called Danai for the entire first season. Danai, and then, like right when we wrapped, she came up, she's like, Nadia, you know my name is not Danai, right? I'm like, what? Like, yeah, it's Danai. I'm like, why didn't you tell me earlier?
Oh no, everyone told you. Everyone.
Well, she liked it. She liked.
I like the way she said it.
She liked me calling her Danai. Anyway, back to the question. Yeah, I find her very skilled. I have a lot of respect for her, Nadia and Magna. And I think I see there's a lot in Michonne that Magna is, and she's an amazing mother. She's a fighter, and I like Michonne a lot. Do I trust her? I don't know, but I also like Magna likes people she can't really figure out, and she's a little scary, and I think Magna likes that about her.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now for Jerry. How would you describe Jerry's outlook now that the kingdom has fallen?
Jerry's outlook, I think, is still pretty positive. That's the best part about getting to play Jerry is always seeing the good in everything. So, yeah, Kingdom got destroyed, but I mean, who wants a place with a bunch of duct tape wrapped around the pipes? So, you know, moving into Kingtop, I think, was a smart move. But, you know, there's you know, we all lost a lot in the Kingdom, and we had, you know, we get displaced, and we created this world, and kind of having it, you know, like, you know, an armor and make believe and within our world, and seeing it go is tough for Jerry. So he's doing his best to kind of keep it going, keep that feeling of the kingdom going, and kind of making sure that the king is, you know, doing okay. You know, so there's a, you know, he's got some, you know, we had people getting mowed down in season 8. We had, you know, we lost Henry, and, you know, Jerry's seeing his best friend sort of just taking it, you know, a little bit harder, so he's trying to strap on a little more and help out where he can. But yeah, outlook, good.
Do people, when you're walking down the street, do people go, Jerry? Of course they do.
And I'll look and I'll wave, and they go, do you get mad about being called Jerry? And I had a friend named Jerry, and we switched his name to Chachi. And this is just karma. No, that's Jerry more than him.
I'm calling you Chachi from now on. Either that or Danai.
This is for Norman and Jeffrey. So you guys finally had a scene together, and Marcy Mel on Twitter wants to know, Norman, how is Daryl going to react to Negan and the fact that he saved Judith? Will he forgive but not forget what Negan did? And what's
thing? So, I mean, we've all killed people, you know, we've all done crazy things, so maybe there'll be a time when we need them, and, you know, that big bald badass behind us is probably, might be the reason, you know. So, I don't know, I love working with Jeff. I've known him for a long, long time. It's pretty awesome. Huh?
Oh no, come on, why you guys bring that up? These guys are trying to get along and some dude in the 5th row goes, remember Glenn, why you gotta do that? It's like, what a session up here. You gotta poke the bear, come on, dude.
It's been like 15 years.
Oh no.
Always. Leopard spots will
Remember all the saviors.
Yeah.
That are dead.
Oh, there you go. Don't clap. Melissa, what was it like shooting the best friend scene from the trailer with Norman?
That whole day was one of the most memorable days of shooting that I've ever had. Of course, Norman is always great fun to work with, but that scene in particular, when he says, when he alludes that, you know, you're my best friend, it comes as a surprise, and there's such a sensitivity to the whole idea of having a best friend and being best friends and things like that. And I think that for her to come back almost as a pill, or, you know, defensive a little bit, or even sort of making fun in a way, is a bit of a defense against feeling any more vulnerable.
Right.
Than to lose that.
So I have a question for Danai, which is, there has been a lot of chatter about this possibly being the last season for you, for Michonne on The Walking Dead. And can you confirm if that's true or false?
Remember Glenn?
I can confirm that this is the last season I will be on the TV show as Michonne. No. And I would just like to say that this has been one of the purest joys of my life, to play this role and to be amongst these people and those that are not here right now, and amongst all of you. And I am very, very thankful for the experience I've had in ways I can't even express right now. But I will say my heart does not leave in any way, shape, or form. The beauty of this show is that TWD family is forever. And the first time I came here in 2012, I felt this energy, and it doesn't ever end. And connection between us never ends, and that's what keeps me going with the decision I made. It was a very difficult one, and it's not connected to my heart. My heart stays right here. But it was about my calling, in a sense, and other things I feel called to, and the opportunities I've had wanting to explore them for others through the other thing I do as a creator of work. So all I'm filled with is a lot of pain about leaving and a lot of gratitude, and thanks to all of you. I love you guys. I love this show. And forever. So, forever. Thank you so much.
I know it's a thank you for your words, and thank you for your work, and thank you for being you. And it is hard to not get emotional about it because it has been such a 7-year journey. And I think as a fan, it's hard to say goodbye to Michonne. It's hard to say goodbye to you as a fan of the show. But as someone who is deeply a fan of you, Danai, I know you're an incredible playwright. You're an incredible writer. You're an incredible actor. The second I saw you on screen on Black Panther, I'm like, well, she's gonna probably do a lot of this. And I know that it's hard to say goodbye to you on the show, but I know that we as fans will see you in Hall H many, many, many times over, doing other many, many, many amazing things. I just, as a person, I'm sad and I'm also happy for you and honored that I've gotten to see you bring this character to life all these years. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'll miss running into you and stuff too, and making the jokes and stuff. But Angela, how do you as a showrunner send a character like Michonne off in a way that does the character justice? How do you even begin to tackle that?
I don't know. It's hard. You know, I think Danai, she's been here since season 3, and just her importance to the show just cannot be overstated. Just the mark that she's left, the excellence that she brings every day, the way that just her professionalism, her passion, all of that, it's been a remarkable journey that we've been on with her, and it's also just remarkable to see her just blooming and spreading her wings out in the world as well. So I think for all of us on the writing side, we just take that responsibility really seriously. This is a character that is important to us, it's important to the fans. In the same way when we were working on an exit for Andy, we approached it with just the same level of seriousness and wanting to do right by this incredible actress as well as the story. I hope we haven't screwed it up. I think, you know, she's certainly, we've put her through her paces this year, and you know, she's a spectacular actress. She challenges us. She brought the A++ game, as she always does, and I'm really excited to share the things that she's doing. I mean, we saw a little clip of her in a mysterious pose with Lucille, so we'll learn some more about that. And you know, I'm excited for people to just see the depth and beauty of her work, as always. And we will miss the hell out of her.
I'm sure there are audience questions, so let's open up the floor to some audience questions. Oh my God, Button Lady! Hi, Button Lady.
Hi, Kaylin, I'm Button Lady.
This is Button Lady. Pinning the buttons right onto your soul.
After wiping the tears from my eyes from all that talk about Danai, my question is for Danai. A lot of your interactions on camera have been with Andy in the past, but this last season you've gotten to interact more with your co-stars. And what have you discovered about your co-stars that you didn't know before?
Well, it has been amazing, actually. It's been fantastic. The amount of interactions I've gotten to have, even last year with this gentleman here, and then also with Cailey and just everybody, you know, working more with Norman, and it's just been really, and working with the awesome new characters. And so it is interesting because it was a difference. It's a very deep difference when, you know, you're partners with Rick, and you have this partnership and this way of just looking at each other and communicating and going forth into things together, and now it's Michonne on her own, and there is kind of a new way to connect to people that was very thrilling, because you know, yeah, you learn the color of people's eyes more deeply. But it was beautiful. But thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Button Lady. Hello again. How are you?
Dash Garcia again.
Yes, sir.
My question is for Danai Gurira, third time, and my question is, as you balance between your roles in dramas, the Avengers, and this, while writing stage plays, do you intend to bring your writing skills to the genres such as action and horror that you've been acting in other sources, whether for film or TV?
Yeah, I'm involved actually very deeply in writing for TV right now, and once again so thankful for this family. I'm so thankful for this astounding woman sitting next to me, and Mr. Gimple. I've really leaned on them to learn how to do what they do, and they run like, I don't know if there's a ship that you can steer, like you need more skill to steer than the one they steer. And so I've learned so much from them. They've given me so much generosity of information and support as I've stepped into starting to create for television. So once again, it comes right back to TWD family, man. So yeah, it's been a great journey with that.
Thank you for your second Danai question. First name. What is your name?
We've met Chris a few years ago.
No, it's good to see you again. How you been? What's going on? How's that thing? That thing's so good? This is part of our dynamic. We're old friends.
Danai, I wish you luck. My question's for Norman. Would you be willing to lead the gang into storming Area 51?
That's good.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I know it's a thing, but what is that?
It's a Facebook event where almost 2 million people signed up.
And we're gonna storm Area 51?
The aliens are real. They're not zombies.
You got zombies?
Are we going to try to steal stuff? What are we going for?
Just to see the aliens. Just to see the aliens.
Just to what?
See the aliens. See if they're real. See if they're hidden in Area 51.
I think you can just go out in the hall. But yeah, why not? Let's storm Area 51. I'm down. I'm not on Facebook, but can I go anywhere?
Listen, 2 million people signed up on Facebook. People always do what they say they're going to do on the internet, so...
Yeah, they're still making another season of, they're remaking the season of Game of Thrones.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Excellent cosplay.
I normally cosplay Ezekiel, so it's a little bit of a change up for me.
What is your name?
My name is Randy Nickel.
And what is your question?
My question is for Angela Kang. I'm quite happy that so far Ezekiel has avoided his fate because I kind of have a little bit of a vested interest when I cosplay him. But I'm hoping, I want to know if he's going to be potentially taking over as the leadership of the Hilltop. Except that so far, every leader of the Hilltop has died thus far.
Except for Maggie, she's still alive.
Well, no, they haven't all died.
Maggie's alive.
A couple of them.
Yeah, take it easy, Randy. Come on.
I think Ezekiel, he's definitely dealing with issues of leadership and what his place in the world is. I think Kari is doing an amazing job with the journey that he's on this season. I don't want to say too much about it because I think it will be a surprise left turn for people, but a lot of deep and touching work by our wonderful Kari.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a part of our Ultimate Fan Challenge last season. You did that. I recognize you. Yes, thank you so much. Hi, what's your name?
Hey, guys. Mic works? Name's Chris. How you doing?
Hey, me too. Good.
Thank you guys for coming. My question actually is for my girlfriend. She couldn't make it. And it's for Norman. Norman, your portrayal of Daryl Dixon's past, his pain, the abuse, the trauma, and all that is so touching and spot on. And she's gone through a lot in her life, and she just always relays to me how much she relates to your character and what he's been through, some of the things that she's experienced in her life. And I just wanted to ask you a little bit where your inspiration for that comes from. And it's perfectly portrayed. It's beautiful, and we love watching on screen. And just wanted to ask you a little bit about where you get some of that from.
Oh wow, thank you for that. I'm like one of those guys that cries on planes. I think for some reason it's harder for me to do the jovial laughter character than it is to do that kind of vibe. Life experience, some of it. If a lot of those scenes have been with really good actors that allow me to do stuff, like Melissa or Andy, or like people that would let you go there. I think I remember me carrying Beth out. Remember that? I wanted to look like I was exhausted of tears doing that and not crying while I was doing that. So the crew on our show let me sit in a hallway on one of those igloo chests and just bawl for like an hour and a half. Wow. And that's how cool the crew is on our show. Like, nobody interrupted. I just see feet going by, but they just give you your space to do stuff. And I think, it's always been like that on this show. Like, if someone has a really emotional day, it's not the goof around day, you know, and everybody gives each other that space to do that. But I think if I was on a different show, it would be harder to do that. But the artistry that goes in every department of this show, there's a lot of respect for every group, you know. So it makes it a little easier, if that makes sense.
Thank you. I was going to wrap the questions, but you are at the microphone. It wouldn't be fair to not let you ask your question. So what is your question? You'll be the last.
Hi, my
Whoa.
question is
Awesome.
I wanted to know, does Negan see Carl and Judith?
Does Negan see Carl and Judith? I think a little bit, yeah. I think that Negan has he genuinely likes kids. I think he has issues with adults, but I think it's a little bit like me, actually. But he really likes kids. It's not just Grimes' children. I think he has an affinity toward. There's, you know, he was a teacher before the apocalypse, and but I think definitely, yes, I think that there's definitely some stuff that he sees in Judith that is very Carl, and he. You know, we didn't play that storyline out as much as I had hoped with Carl, certainly. And thankfully, we found this amazing actor in Cailey, and working with her, we got to play some of that storyline, some of the Negan-Carl storyline. She kind of took over that for Negan, and that has helped Negan find this road to redemption that he's kind of currently been on, and kind of normalized him, except for the gentleman here. But yeah, absolutely he does. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. And by the way, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, Petco Park, please. Amazing time, everybody. That's all the time we have for the Season 10 Walking Dead Comic-Con panel. I want to thank everyone for being here. 10 trailers available on YouTube. October 6th, The Walking Dead will return to screens.